here. I think we're good. Yes, we're expecting you to do this right, Zelnus. Clearly. That's how this works. Anyway, I guess I'll just give you a countdown and hope that you're there. We're gonna start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, welcome to Pokemon Sapphire. Now, I guess I'll first and foremost go into why I'm even running this game in the first place, because that kind of explains why I'm also really low placed and still running this anyway. I've run just about every single Pokemon game, and this is no exception. There's a huge Pokemon race coming next year, so wanted to do that, and wanted to learn all the games for that. Now, first and foremost, we're gonna go into character selection here, and we're going to pick the girl. Because that matters, actually. Believe it or not, that matters a lot. The girl is faster mainly because of one fight later on, which is the rival fight. It's hell in this with the girl. It's even worse with the boy. Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. I always prefer playing as the boy, but there wasn't much of an option here. So yeah, we're gonna go into Little Route, and we've got a few things we need to do here. Just gonna go inside. We just moved here. It's a quaint little village. Not much going on here. All these Machokes are bringing our stuff in, or more so walking around with boxes, because that's just what they do. We're gonna go into the PC, get a potion. That's just for safety. I want to set the clock. And by setting the clock, we immediately rule out any options of getting snow runned, because I didn't set the clock correctly. Zelnus, if I may make a suggestion, it might be worth it to put something black underneath it so that you don't see the thingy on the screen. You probably know what I mean with that. But yeah, just to make that look slightly better, because I think the white gray blocked thing is probably not ideal. Anyway, we're gonna go upstairs here. We're gonna meet our rival. This is Brandon. He's not as bad as the female rival. He's still pretty bad though. Now in a moment we're gonna save before the Mudkip, and the idea is I want to hit a naughty natured Mudkip with near perfect stats. Every single reset we do, every single soft reset, the RNG value gets set back to 0. We want to hit the Mudkip exactly 148 frames after the soft reset, which is 11.38 seconds. That's hard. We'll see if we succeed. So we save the game here. I'm using a timer system to help me on that. Let's see if we can get it. This may take a few tries. I will check if I got the wrong one, just to see whether I was, or how far I was off. Okay. Which one is this? Timid. Crap. That was 4 frames early. Oh, crap. Come on. That Timid right there was 4 frames early. That felt late. This isn't the one, I already know that, but I want to see which one it is. Sassy. Ah, that was 1 frame early, actually. That was 1 frame off. Mild, that was too late. See, this is what I was afraid of, that this would happen. The mild is 4 frames late. Come on. If I'm 1 frame late, I can also run it. This might be the 1 frame late. 2 frames early. That sucks. We're hitting all of the Mudkips around the one I want, except for the one I want. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna adjust the timer slightly. Because I'm... oh. Because I'm hitting slightly early every time. But yeah, it saves a lot of time to get the correct Mudkip. Normally I practice a little bit of this before we start, but because of how impromptu the setup was, that wasn't my... This could be it, actually. Nice, this is the one. We got it. So there we go. To give you an idea, every single stat in the game has a value between 0 and 31, 31 being the highest, on top of which we have a nature. The naughty nature means we have plus on attack, which gives me 10% extra attack, which is really useful. On top of that, just to give you an idea, we have 24 HP out of 31, 31 being the highest. We've got 27 attack, 10 defense, the defense being our lowest and only bad stat. We've got 31 special attack, 31 special defense, and 30 speed, so we've got near-perfect stats on everything. It's that combination of really, really good stats that is going to make this run significantly easier on me. But yeah, now that that's out of the way, we're gonna just move up, and we're gonna go fight our rival. We have to fight our rival at the start of the game here. We just can't progress otherwise. Generally speaking, with the stats that we have, it's not going to be much of a concern. But he could be annoying sometimes. We'll see. While I do that, I can actually resize some things on my screen because I needed the notes there for the Mudkip manipulation. I'm just adjusting things as we go, basically. But yeah, this is a Pokemon you could that's just godlike on everything, and that's why it becomes as useful as it is. So yeah, this is rival Brandon. Brandon is a pain most of the time. Trico can do two things. It's completely random what he does. He can either use the Leer or the Pound, and he got Pound with a critical. This is not great. Okay, we got a critical as well. I just need him to not crit me. Oh, come on! So this is the worst kind of luck you can get. This is really, really unlucky. He had a 1 in 16 chance to kill me there. That is the kind of luck we're talking about. That was a 1 in 16 chance to kill me. I figured I would risk it. I mean, 1 in 16 is not very likely, but he got it anyway. We're gonna have to try that again. 2 criticals in a row. That is basically one of the only ways that he can actually kill you. Not really sure how that happened. That is pretty darn unlucky. And that is pretty darn rare as well. We can continue anyway, it doesn't matter. Money isn't super tight, and even if it is, I'll grab some extra items here and there just to make money management easier. But yeah, let's just say that RNG screwed us over. Not much we could do about that. So regarding the Mudkip, one thing I should mention is there was another Mudkip that was runnable, which is exactly 1 frame later. I aim to hit frame 148. If we hit frame 149, we'll get a hasty Mudkip that is almost as good. It's a bit slower, even despite having a plus speed nature. But other than that, it's workable at least. And there we go. That is how the Trico fight can go. Still not a great fight. I'm still going to need to use a potion later. I may talk to the Mart guy to get a free potion to save some money later on, because I don't know how much we actually lost just now. Either way. Brandon done. Back to town. Yeah, I can talk to the Mart guy over there to get some extra money. Or rather, to save me some money later on. Yeah, Emerald World Record manips the first rival fight. The problem with this run in particular is that it's really, really difficult to manipulate things much further than the first little bit. We can manipulate things, but it's much easier said than done. Especially going that far, so... I wouldn't even know if it's possible on Sapphire. It probably is, because the RNG works roughly the same. It's a little bit different, but roughly the same anyway. Anyway, we grab ourselves the first Pokeballs, which we'll be needing later on. And we're going to get the running shoes from Mom here. And with that, we can finally get rid of the slow movement and start running around. It's a lot better. It's just a lot more convenient. Now, not a whole lot about this first route that I can say, really. Just gonna hope to get as few encounters as possible. Starting the next bit, we will start seeing a few spinners as well as some other annoying fights, generally speaking. But we'll get through that. I'm gonna talk to this guy. He's gonna give me a potion. He wastes a little bit of time, but then again, he does give me a potion, and like I said, I kind of need the money right now. Now, because of the amount of damage we took on the rival, I actually do have to heal here. And on to Calvin. Calvin, generally not that bad a fight. We're just gonna tackle a bunch. Hope he dies quickly. And seeing as how I'm seeing something about a Pokemon, like a full series run, so let me kind of recap on that, because it is a really long thing, and I guess people here are interested in really long stuff. This summer, and it's open to anybody, so if people are interested, feel free to hit me up. But this summer there will be a race of all of the Gen 1 through 5 games, both main series as well as most of the side games. On top of which we catch every single Pokemon in all of the games, and that's kind of why I started learning the Gen 3 games in the first place. Originally I only ran Gen 1 and 2, but because of the series race being a thing this summer, I figured, you know, I should probably learn 3, 4, and 5 as well. The race is estimated, because we also catch every Pokemon, it's estimated to take, I believe, 2 to 3 weeks. Of course, including some sleep breaks, because you do need that, but that is something that's being planned as we speak, actually. It's kind of cool. So yeah, onto the Mart. I'm gonna see how many I can buy. 3 potions. 2 repels. Okay, so we did lose some money, but I wouldn't have had enough for the extra potion, but we do have enough in general because of that one that I picked up from the guy. So it worked out nicely. Yeah, the idea here is very simple. All we want to do is get to the Elite Four and beat them as fast as possible and get ourselves registered in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, here we come up to our dad, because our dad is a gym leader in this game, which is kind of cool. And we meet Wally. Wally recently got moved back here. He actually originally lived here, but he moved to another town because of his health. And he wants to become a Pokemon trainer. So our dad is nice enough to borrow him a Pokeball and a Pokemon so that he can catch his very first Pokemon. And he's going to catch this Ralts. Funny enough, the Zigzagoon, if the Zigzagoon crits twice, and we've seen 2 criticals happening back to back, the Zigzagoon would actually kill the Ralts, and the fight would just be over, and it wouldn't matter at all. It wouldn't change anything. There are some rules on that, Sheep, but like I said, if anybody's interested in doing a series run of sorts like that, we've got a bunch of people already participating. It's going to be a lot of fun. Even if you're not participating but you're interested in Pokemon, we're going to do a heck of a lot of Pokemon soon. So just hit me up and I'll get you the details if you'd like. Yeah, we get the Ralts, and, you know, Wally, all happy, can now start his journey as a Pokemon trainer. He's gonna leave, and we don't really care much beyond this either. I should have entered the Pokemon Center, which I'll do in a moment, as we're about to head into Petalburg Woods. And Petalburg Woods is one of the worst, or has one of the worst fights in the game, easily. I'll also heal just to be safe. We're gonna just take a few safeties here. Now, I could go out and manipulate a Wingull in a little bit. But we're not going to do any other manipulations right now. We've got the main thing we wanted. We're just gonna go up here. I'm gonna use a repel. I'm gonna just repel through this part. Now, spinners in this game, however, work a little bit differently. If they spin, or if you run, they will always face towards you. If you're standing still, okay, we're gonna save here. If they're standing, or if they're not facing you and you go into your back, you can actually manipulate them to stay stuck for just a couple of frames, which is generally enough to just pass them, no problem. Okay, now for the Team Aqua Grunt here. This fight can be over very quickly, or it can take forever. This guy has Sand Attack, and it is a disaster. This is not a fun fight, let me just say that much. His pooch is painful. It takes me 5 tackles to get him down. It's fine if he tackles me, as long as, you know, because we're faster anyway. We got a critical, that's really nice. So far, so good. Are we gonna get a perfect pooch fight, pretty much? This is a perfect pooch fight, pretty much. That is very rare. Very lucky fight right there. That was very lucky. Like I said, that guy has Sand Attack. And Sand Attack, you don't even want to know how I've seen that fight go. I've seen that fight take 15 to 20 turns in the past. And I'm not even kidding. And I've died on that as well, plenty of times before. We're going to go into the back here. That's going to get him stuck for just a few frames. We're going to get this Ether. Very useful little item there. That's it. We're out of Petalburg Woods. So this is a Rotator. Rotators spin, but in a set pattern, so they're very easy to predict. So we can just move past her. We're gonna go off to the gym. I could take the center right now, but it's really not worth it. We're gonna attempt to skip all the centers from here until basically the 5th gym. That's ideally what we're aiming for here. We want to skip all of the centers from here until we are about to head into the 5th gym. So another RNG heavy fight here. This Geodude, we're gonna have to Mudslap him a few times because I don't really have Water Gun yet. We get Water Gun as soon as we level up, but we don't have it yet. So it takes about 6 water guns for him to go down, and we want to take as little damage as possible, so these accuracy drops are going to matter. We need this guy to miss, like that. Now, luckily we got a crit at the start, so that already drops it down to only 5 hits. Another crit now would be really good, but he missed again. So far, a really solid fight. Like, 1 hit is fine. I can take that. That second hit is unfortunate. That does mean I'll have to use a potion before the gym leader, which we were probably going to do anyway. Level up again. We get Water Gun, and just having Water Gun makes the rest of this gym pretty easy. One of the reasons that Mudkip works as well as it does is simply because the very first gym is this Rock-type gym, and I mean, that makes it pretty easy for a Water-type to go through. There is also a route with Torchic. It's a bit slower, I believe. Not really sure how much slower, but it's especially in this early part that you just lose a lot of time. Because we're still very underleveled, we are going to fight both of the trainers here, however, just to get a little bit of extra experience. Now, you might have noticed, every single time I've been fighting a trainer, I've been talking to them, rather than just walking in front of them. Reason for that is that, you might remember, if you've ever played Pokemon, if you step in front of a trainer, you'll get this exclamation mark above his head, and then he'll walk towards you. Problem is, that exclamation mark actually takes a decent amount of time. So we're going to talk to them wherever possible, just to save that little bit of time here and there. It's very minimal time saves, but throughout the run it kind of adds up. I'm going to save here, because Roxanne can be kind of troublesome. And on to the fight. So here we go, Roxanne, first gym leader of the game. 2 Pokemon. The first one's guaranteed to go down in a single hit. The second one can take a while. It can take anywhere between 2 and 7 hits, depending on the RNG. Rock Tomb is unfortunate. I really don't like getting Rock Tomb there. It does, like, a lot of damage. So, okay, we will live another Rock Tomb, so I'm gonna just attack again. I need a critical now. Very clutch there. He's gonna heal, so we're gonna heal as well. Okay, miss Rock Throw, that's very good. And that's it. Roxanne down. Bit of a clutch fight. A little bit more clutch than I had hoped. Rock Throw did a little bit more than I had expected. That said, we made it through just fine. The Grass Starter is actually not at all the easiest starter. The Grass Starter is hands down the hardest starter to get through the game with in this case. The Fire Starter is mainly slow in the early game, although it makes that up in the late game a little bit. But Trico, it lags behind throughout the game. I'm gonna use that potion here. Play it safe. Yeah, I've attempted to run with Trico in the past, and let's just say it's not fun. Definitely not gonna recommend it. So we're gonna fight the trainer here. We basically have 2 options, and the upper option, Joey, is almost always the better option. We can either go for fighting Joey over here with his Zigzagoon and Machop, I think it is. We could also go for the bug catcher, which is the lower of the two here, which is not necessarily the better option, but sometimes he can be more optimal. It works out slightly better with experience. I'll have to kill something along the way still. Now regarding Torrent, because I do see it mentioned in chat here, Torrent for us would have been a great way to make these fight a little bit faster. Right now, I didn't want to risk Torrent, mainly. That's why I healed out of it. But later on, you'll be seeing me use Torrent occasionally to make some damage ranges easier. We're gonna get rid of the Zigzagoon. We needed that little bit of extra experience, because that will guarantee that we'll actually evolve later on. I need to evolve into Marshtomp before we head into Deathwarp. You can Life of Tree. You can reduce Mud Slap at turn 1 to reduce the chance of getting hit by Rock Throw. That is an option. It's not generally, however, what we would do is we would instead use Growl on turn 1. That way you reduce its attack to the point where it's also very unlikely for it to actually do as much damage. That's a bit more consistent than using Mud Slap. That is a strat. By that point, Rock Throw does between 8 and 10, and Tackle will only do 4. So it is a valid strategy. Now it's time we met the old man over here, and he's lost his good friend Pico. Pico has been stolen, so we're gonna go into the dungeon. Gonna fight this team Aqua Grunt who's stolen Pico from the guy. Pretty easy fight, generally speaking. 2 water guns to kill, 1 if we're in Torrent. But we were not in Torrent, so we just have to take a second hit. Again, JTD, watching on either end works. I'm reading both chats, both my own and the Speed Gaming chat, so I'll try to keep up to date as best I can. And so we have Mudkip evolve into Marshtomp, and we're gonna learn Mud Slap. Gonna get rid of Growl here. Mud Slap, or Mudshot, sorry. Mudshot is gonna be a move we'll be using a lot throughout the run. Probably one of our most used moves throughout the entire thing. With that, Pico is safe, and we can move out. Now, you may have noticed up to this point, we still haven't caught anything other than our main. Reason being, we don't actually need a whole lot of extra Pokemon. We do need a Flyer. I'll be keeping an eye out to see if I can get a Tailo or a Wingull. Worst comes to worst, I catch a Swablu later on. Now, additionally, Cut we don't actually need anything for. Flash we don't really need anything for. Both of those moves we can do without any Pokemon. Because let's be fair, the dungeon layout is the same either way, whether I have Flash or not. Surf we're going to teach to Swampert, which basically just leaves Dive and Whirlpool. Or sorry, no, Dive and Strength, which I believe we both use Swampert for as well, or we get something later on. I'm not 100% sure, but either way, we don't really need a whole lot of Pokemon, especially since we get Kyogre in the late game anyway. What level does our main get by the time we get the Elite Four? Well, we don't actually use Swampert for the Elite Four. Instead, we actually use a Kyogre that we're going to catch later on. Kyogre will be our main for the late game here. Okay. So we're going to sell some stuff here. First and foremost, we're going to get rid of the TM we just got. Also going to sell a few of my Pokeballs. We're not going to sell all of them. I may have to also sell the Great Ball, but I'm going to see if I can manage not to do that. Oh yeah, we definitely have to sell some stuff. So the unfortunate part here is we do have to sell some stuff so I can buy some repels, and we don't have nearly enough. Now, the fact that we don't have enough isn't necessarily a big deal because I do have enough for this next part. I can do the next dungeon with the 2 repels that I have. It's just that I'll have to buy a few extra ones in Slateport later on. Not a huge deal. We're just gonna have to keep that in mind. And so we go down through Pebbleberg Woods. Very uneventful little place. Through some grass over here. If we get a flyer, that'd be ideal. Didn't get it. I want to talk to Briny. Now we have a letter. Basically what happened just now, after having taken care of all that, we found the Aqua grunt, and we also got a parcel back that we got to the whatever corporation over in Rustboro. I don't even remember what the corporation is called. They got us a brand new phone. That's kind of cool. And they also got a quest for us. We have to deliver a letter to Steven right here in Dewford. Steven being the regional champion, so he's a pretty big guy. I'm gonna go over here, get a few extra items. This is mainly because I didn't have the money for that, for the repels earlier. The Stardust is gonna make up for that. Devon Corporation, thank you. I couldn't remember the name for whatever reason. Yeah, some dark cave. We're just gonna get through this place a little bit. Granite Cave is fairly uneventful, to be honest. Not a whole lot to it. Gonna bonk my way through. That's basically how we do all of the darker dungeons in this game, or in any Pokemon run, really. We just bonk our way through. And that's the end of it. You may have noticed we picked up an escape rope at the start. We're going to use that right after we talk to Steven. So we hand over the letter to Steven. Not very impressive, but we got that done. Now Steven also has a quest for us as we need to deliver something to Slateport in a little bit. But anyway, Steven's gonna get out, we're gonna escape rope out, and it's on to the next gym. So next up is the second gym leader, or the second gym, and the second gym is actually a little bit different in this game than it is in the Emerald route. This is a gym you can opt to completely skip. It wouldn't even be that hard to do. You could just pass this gym and it wouldn't matter at all. The only thing about it is that getting back here is kind of a pain, so we kind of would rather not do that. So we're just going to fight the Meditite here. Water Gun, unfortunately he used Detect. And I'm running rather low on Water Gun PP. I could tackle that actually. Save myself a Mudshot PP. The Water Gun PP doesn't matter as much. Mudshot is mostly the thing that's just really, really tight in this run. Yeah, we defeat Battle Girl Laura, and off to the gym leader. The gimmick of this gym is that with every single trainer you fight, everything gets lit up just a little bit more. But the path to the gym leader is just up here. Heal up. We're gonna save because Brawly can actually troll me quite a bit. Brawly is also one of the more difficult fights here. Basically, everything in the early game is kind of difficult, and then later on it gets a lot safer. We'll see how things go. He leads the Machop. We're going to use an X attack. Now, you'll see me use X items a lot throughout the run. They basically mean that by now I have 1.5 attack, 1.5 times my regular attack, which means that despite the fact that he just buffed up, still means I'll be doing a decent amount of damage. That's just very useful. I mean, I might as well, like, write dreams. I've got plenty of time here. Seismic Toss, 17 damage, not a big deal. The only downside is I dealt enough damage that he had to go for that. Ooh, that crit, though. That crit mattered a lot. That crit mattered a lot. Crits ignore the defense buffs that he has, so it actually helps me quite a lot if we get that. Bulk up. If he doesn't heal, we get the kill here. And boom. That's Brawly. That was actually a really good fight. I'm happy with that. I'm glad you like that. But yeah, like I said, I've got the time to explain everything. I might as well, right? 2 gyms done. 6 more to go. Now, Bulk Up is a move that I don't believe we're going to use just about ever, really. Not really that useful. It's a nice attack and defense buff, but we've got X items. They do all the same. Yep, we're done here in Deathwarp, and now it's off to Slateport. The reason we're not using centers, by the way, I will explain, but I won't explain it yet. It'll come into play in about a little over half an hour, probably. You'll see. This is probably my favorite strat in the game. That's why we don't center. Got a really, really cool strat later on. Now, the beach is home to a lot of a lot of little items we can just pick up. Very useful. We get the soft sand, revive. I do believe there's also an ether around here. Not sure. Might be mistaken on that one. Thought there was something around here. Probably misremembering, or confusing it with Emerald. Likely the latter of the two. Yeah, upstairs. No. I always confuse where I have to go, because it's slightly different in each game. Anyway, we talk to this guy. This is Doc. And he needs the Devon goods. Now we need to deliver, English, the parcel to some guy at the museum here. Let's just say it like that. Captain Stern. There he is. And just as we talk to him, we get attacked by a bunch of Aqua grunts. Now these Aqua grunts are kind of... They're really just scrubs. We don't care. First fight down. Easy every time. Honestly, these fights are very easy. The second one can be problematic as he leads a Zubat. Generally, he just does like 2 or 3 damage and that's it, but he can actually be annoying sometimes. Or he does that. That works too. Now we've got another Carvana. That's it. Yeah, Aqua Grunts are done, and, well, their leader decides to walk in. And Archie, he's... You know, he kind of threatens us, I think. He tells us about their ideals, but we don't really care. Yeah, Stern walks off. We finished our quest. There is one little thing we can do back here. This guy actually gives me a free TM. Again, we don't really need the TM, but I'm going to use it for money management. This is one of those places where I can get a TM just to make my money management later on significantly easier. And since I was short on revives, or on repels earlier, this is an ideal moment to buy a few. Now I have enough to buy the other 4. Additionally, I can also buy a super potion. We get enough money from that I can also buy an extra potion, which is nice, a nice bit of safety, really. But yeah, that's it. That's all we needed to do in Slateport. On to the next route, Route 110. And Route 110 is home to probably the worst fight in the game. You'll see it in a moment. But first and foremost, we're going to give the soft sand to our main. I'm gonna repel, heal. All very important setup that we do here. Pass that spinner there. I'm gonna save here. Very, very important safety save. This fight is not fun. And it's time for Rival 2. Now, Rival 2 can hurt me in many a way. If we get the setup done, generally speaking, we're going to be okay. But the setup isn't always going to be easy either. We're going to buff our attack. And this is already really bad. I need at least +1, I believe. If he growls again, I'm definitely resetting. I don't know if with the attack that I have, whether that's going to be enough. It's going to be very close. I'm going to attempt it at least. Yeah, that's not enough. I figured. The Numel can growl, and the growl getting my... getting my attack down that early is not hopeful. Nocturne is the one that was before this, right? Or is that the one coming after this? I'm not sure. Tackle is a good start. No. Yeah, I don't know the really long Thon schedule from the top of my head. Okay, so yeah, Nocturne will be after this then. We were way too far ahead of schedule. Yeah, this is just a filler run, really. Okay, please stop growling me. Literally any other move is fine. Okay, we're low enough that we do need to heal here. That's accounted for that we do need a heal at some point. Mud Slap. That will one-shot this. Now, it's mainly the next poke that's going to be very scary. This Grovyle. He's going to absorb, and that's going to do a lot of damage. We're going to Mudshot, and it's going to seem as if, like, we're not going to be able to kill it anymore. But one thing that Mudshot does is it drops Grovyle's speed. Because of that... No, we missed! Crap! That's so mean! Because of the speed drop, we end up being faster, and we can do the second attack before he gets to attack again. But then that happened. That is so mean. That is sadly the strat the way it is. We need to have, but we do also need to have both X attacks, actually. Come on. This fight is trolling me a lot more than usual here. This sadly is just RNG, and there's not much I can do about it. Okay, tackle. That's fine. Do that again. Another one, if you will. One more. Okay, so far so good. Again, he's gonna hurt me a lot, but it's okay. Mudshot. Beat drop. Just need to head now. I think it's like 90% or 95% accurate. There we go. There we go. And then the Wilmer just dies to one Mudshot as well. That was rough. Or at least worse than I should have been. But whatever. Nope. We're not gonna learn Foresight. So we get the item finder from him. I don't care about the item finder at all. I do care about a hidden revive that's coming up. It's right here. Very useful little revive. Avoid the spinners here. Avoid the rotator here. And there we go. Now into the building over here, we're gonna get Rock Smash real quick. Now Rock Smash is actually a move we're going to be teaching in a moment. We actually do use the move. And we're gonna get a bike. Because what better way to move around than a bike? Running shoes works, but only to a certain extent. A very useful feature they added in Gen 4 is that you could switch bikes on the fly, but for now we just have to choose one and go with it. I did Dreams, but I'll happily explain it again. Spinners in this game, after you open up the menu, get stuck for a few frames. It's not very long, but it's long enough for it to be very useful to me. Mudshot. Rock Smash over Mud Slap. Focusing on my menu at the same time. Yeah, basically just freezes spinners in place for a couple of frames. Long enough for me to pass it, generally speaking. So, that's kind of helpful. Yeah, the time they freeze is about the same amount as it takes for me to take 2 steps. It's a little bit less, but it's generally speaking enough for me to pass the spinners no problem, which makes that a little bit safer more than anything. Because it'd be nice to, like, it's nice to avoid spinners where possible. Okay, Wally, very easy fight here. And on to the Mauville City gym. Mauville gym being an electric type gym generally isn't that bad. One thing that we are going to have to pay attention to is my health. Luckily there is a heal house later on that I can take. It's kind of a replacement for a proper heal, since we're not going to be able to take any centers yet. Okay, on to Vivian. One of the few fights we don't actually finish in one turn, or at least one of the few Pokemon we can't finish in one turn. That confusion could be bad. This is really not good. Thinking about my health situation right now. Because health-wise, we're not in a great position. 29 is a bit lower than I'd like to be. Or a 39, I mean. I'll save before the gym leader, just to be sure. Yo, Siri. Just doing a marathon run here. We're over on twitch.tv/speedgaming3 right now, in case you want to see how the restream is going. In case people were still wondering about that Pokemon race, by the way, that I mentioned, I noticed somebody was asking about that. Hold on, let me get you guys a link about that Pokemon race. I have it on hotkey in my own channel, but let me copy the link for you guys. Copy, paste. There you go. That's the race that I was talking about. The run Zelnas, please update runner command. OPOP. That's the previous runner. So that doesn't help you much either. I'm sorry. But yeah, that paste bin should link you to the information about that major race that's happening next year, in case people are interested. In the meantime, we're gonna go into Watson. We've already defeated Wally. Fairly straightforward fight for the most. We just hope he doesn't troll me too much. Yo, Nick, thanks for the host. I think we're in the clear here. I don't think the runner command is up to date right now. I'll have to poke Zelnas about that. Somebody at Zelnas, you know, maybe he'll reply. Okay, despite a bit of a rough start, we got Watson down. I do have to actually pay attention to not hitting any optionals in a bit, because there is a lot of places where we could hit potential optionals. During this next part, we're also going to be catching our flyer, which is going to be a Swablu. Here we go. We're now going to go basically track all around the Hoenn region. I'm gonna play it a little bit safe on the spinners over here, because especially this first spinner is not a fun one to hit. The second one I generally speaking don't mind as much. He can be annoying, but he only has a single Sandshrew. got through that part. Onto the other end. There is another spinner over here that we really don't want to hit. Oh! And just like that, I head first dive into the battle. Great, this might not end well. We'll see. I'm very good at this game, as you guys can tell. It's fine. I just hope the Whalmer doesn't hurt me too bad. Luckily there's a heal point coming up, so worst comes to worst we take the heal point. This is completely on me. I'm focusing on saying that I shouldn't hit this guy. First thing I do is actually hit this guy. Okay. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be, though. No, you're right. I am not Worcester. Okay, so this is the heal house that I mentioned. It's a nice safety in case we die somewhere, like, or we hit an extra trainer or something like that. Little known, or probably not so little known side fact about this girl or this lady. If you keep mashing A, you're in an infinite loop and you're gonna get healed over and over and over until the end of time. She really tells you, or she really teaches you how to say no. Reason I saved there is because this trainer is also a pain. This Roselia, or this trainer has a Roselia. Normally the Roselia has a 77% damage range. Because of the extra level, I think it's 100%, but the Wingull still has Growl and Control Me, which it does. Right, now it's not a damage range. Now we're guaranteed to fail. So now the Roselia here is a 2-shot because of the Growl. Oh boy, paralysis into Mega Drain. This could end very, very badly. Yep. That's what I meant. This is why we save before this fight. This cool trainer has given me so much trouble in the past. Oh god, confusion. I don't like confusion either. It still end very, very badly. Especially this first poke, the Wingull, like just... yeah. And we hit ourselves in confusion. This is not good. Okay, Roselia missed. That's kind of a saving grace there, honestly. And we hit ourselves again. Oh! And missed again! What is this fight? Seriously though, what the heck is that fight? Confusion into hitting myself, into stun spore miss, into hitting myself, into stun spore miss again. Like, what? Yeah, that's broke down. Be very careful here. This is another rather tricky part. There's a lot of trainers here. We ideally don't hit any of them. There we go. Got through that at least. I'm gonna pass the mart ever so slightly just so that we can pick up a nugget here and then it's back to the mart and do our shopping. We buy a lot of items here. Basically all we need for the next significant part of the run. Now, it's very important here that I don't sell Shockwave, because we do need Shockwave in the late game. Kyogre can learn it, and it makes the Kyogre so much better. 3 Super Potions. Couple Super Repels. Specials. Feed. Attacks. Defend. And 2 guard specs. Oh yeah, when I say we buy a couple items, you should take that relatively lightly. That usually means we're gonna buy a lot. But here I need Wingull, or sorry, Swablu. The Seviper is useful, believe it or not. We can actually use a Mudshot here to kill it, and that'll bring me on high EXP route if I wasn't already. I probably already was, but in case I wasn't, now I am for sure, and that actually makes things a bit easier later on. Essentially, it means we're going to get Swampert a little bit earlier, which speeds things up in turn. Now I need to grind out Swablu here, though. Getting pretty unlucky on this. I think Swablu is like 25% or something. It's pretty likely. But the RNG gods are not in our favor today. They really don't want me to get this. There we go. Should be able to tackle once, I think. Okay, well that works. Well, Girly, that's kind of what a lot of Pokemon runs are. You know, just looking like somebody who's played it a decent amount before, playing through the game again. Speedrunning is essentially that in a lot of ways, especially for glitchless categories, but they can be interesting sometimes as well. Okay, this guy we're going to try to dodge. We did. Use my last repel here. We're gonna get a cutscene in here. So we meet up with Team Magma and Aqua again, or rather Team Aqua, who is like intimidating this this researcher or whatever he's supposed to be. We just make our way out, basically. There's really not much to that part. Just have to somehow make it to the end of this place. Can you manip a shiny starter? Not that I know of. Even though the stats can be manipulated, I don't think you can actually manipulate a shiny starter. In the first 2 gens, that was... those two were related to each other. Past that, I'm not sure. So through Rosdorf Tunnel, pretty straightforward. We Rock Smash this, we get Strength as a result. Useful move, by the way. We're going to be needing that in the very foreseeable future. Yo, thanks, Turtle. I'll see you around. But here I'm gonna actually play it a bit slower, because these spinners are not fun. At one point or another, I've fought pretty much all of them in a run, and that hurts your run quite a bit, I can say that much. I'm getting a bit unlucky here getting this random Geodude from Rock Smash. This can happen sometimes. What can you do? Make sure that we avoid this one. Make sure we avoid this one. Super Repel, and I'm also going to Super Potion. Run Strength over Water Gun. Normally we'd be pretty much out of Water Gun PP by this point, but because of the extra heal house that we used, it's not as bad here. Go Dark Sky. Everybody in my chat, by the way, if you're interested, we're currently doing a marathon run on Speed Gaming 3, so be sure to check that out as well. And up we go onto where Team Aqua is at. Just a couple fights we need to do here. Most of them are pretty straightforward. And then after this, we're going to go for the 4th gym, and then for for probably one of the main tricks we have in this speedrun of this. Of course that's not a problem, Chrisnor. By all means, lurk away. But we're actually going to do somewhat of a Deathwarp later on. You may have noticed, up to this point, I have not taken any centers since we entered Petalburg, like way at the start of the game. What we're going to do is we're going to go into the 4th gym fight. We're going to face the gym leader there. Pretty straightforward fight on the gym leader. But the main thing about the gym leader is we can get poisoned. So I'm going to get myself poisoned there, and I'm going to have the poison tick me down to 0 HP, causing me to die basically immediately after the fight. By doing that, we get warped back to the last center we used, which is the town with the 5th gym. That's just a really cool little thing we can do. We'll be doing that in a moment. You'll see. It's definitely easily my favorite. And yes, this is an Abra-less route. We use poison damage to Deathwarp instead. A bit more consistent than Abra. Another annoyingly dangerous fight coming up here. We're again going to save. We're not on emulator, Panda. I'm playing on a DS right now, to be precise, with an original Sapphire cartridge. Like, what you're seeing here is console. I run almost everything on console. Okay, in any case, first off this fight, we're going to use the guard spec so that my Tiana might not be as annoying once the Marshtomp comes out. I'm going to send in Marshtomp. Now we have a decent amount of setting up here to do. We're going to start with an X attack. Goes for bite, that's okay. Speed. So the sand attacks is the reason we set that up just now. That's what the guard spec is for. It's just to protect us from that. X attack. I may have to heal. The Golbat shouldn't be able to kill me, but the last one should be. I think we're faster, though. If we're slower, we're dead. X attack is one stage. So it works the same as all other one stage attack buffing moves. Well, for what it's worth, Panda, I can guarantee you right here that I'm playing on console right now. If you were on my end of the stream, I would show the console itself, but I can't do that on a marathon run. Or, well, I could, but you wouldn't see it. Gonna buy some final heal items here. Ooh, energy powders. Now these heal items, they're surprisingly good. The only major downside is they drop our happiness. But that isn't much of a problem in this run, because we don't really care for happiness. Yeah, 2 items for 2 stage, which is what we used just now. Wait, they buffed X items in the later gens? I didn't even know they did. I haven't been keeping track of the later gens much, honestly, so I didn't know they buffed X items later on. So I'm going to make a safety save here, because this is again a fight that can go very poorly sometimes. Generally speaking, we have the health that I want to have here, but we'll see if that'll work. We need a lot of X items to make this fight work. We're going to use 4 X attacks in total. Light screen doesn't matter. We want to get poisoned. He needs to use smog, and I want to get poisoned. That's ideally what we're aiming for. But what he's doing now is kind of counterproductive for me. Poison? No poison. That's unfortunate. We can stall a little bit, but I can't stall for too much. Still no poison. I can use the last super, maybe that'll help, but I need him to poison me right now. Okay, that's a reset. I need that poison. Getting the poison, like, even if I have to reset, it still saves me more time than it would lose me. So it's actually worth it. Yo, Feka, we're currently doing a marathon run over on Speed Gaming 3. So, you know, if you're interested. So yeah, very unlucky first attempt at this. It's 30% to poison, by the way. It's actually rather likely that it will. Come on. Still no poison. We're getting really, really unlucky with the poison today. We've been hit, what, 6 times now, I think? There we go. That's the wrong one still. Tough one. Hold on. I'll link it in a moment. Totally not a shameless self-plug there, OPOP. I'm down 1 X item, 1 X special. That's not a disaster though. I commonly find myself short 1 X item there, for whatever reason. Yeah, Nocturne is gonna happen after this, but we were about 3 hours ahead of schedule. So we're just getting back on schedule a little bit. This is literally just to fill the schedule. We're gonna talk to Brendan here. He's gonna give me some item that I'm never gonna use. So in a moment you'll see the reason why we wanted the poison so badly. You'll see it's also it's a great speed strat. I'm also gonna quickly hop over here. Get the nugget. Again, just a safety item. And boom! In the city with the next gym. That's how we do it. So here we go. On to the 5th gym. The few trainers we need to defeat here. Most of these can actually be somewhat dangerous sometimes. Or at the very least annoying. We got hit by Q Charm there, and Sleep. Great. I should have it. No, not Energy Roots. Fuel Powder. Okay. Luckily the Q Charm didn't affect things too much there. So for the second one, we basically have the same strategy. We use Mud Shot and then we switch over to Strength. Generally speaking, it can be slightly annoying here and there. Mud Shot. This is also one of the longer fights in this gym, at least for the regular trainers. Critical can go a long way. Didn't get that, sadly. That's not exactly what I meant, game. Not exactly what I meant. The worst part is I actually have to heal this off using an energy powder now. Yeah, the game did give me what I asked for, I suppose. Not entirely the way I meant it, but hey. That's just how it goes. Welcome to Pokemon Speedrunning, everybody, where the game manages to screw you over at every corner. Oh, crap. We saved there, didn't I? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, I did. I was about to say, I usually do. Yeah, this run has been a train wreck so far, and not only on account of me being bad at the game. I'm actually getting screwed over by RNG left and right. See, that's how this fight is supposed to go. That's why I'm generally not too worried. And a crit wouldn't have killed, or a non-crit wouldn't have killed me. He needed a critical to kill me. Unfortunately, he got said critical. Okay, now for the gym leader. Our father. Now, Norman is really one of those fights that can literally go anywhere. It can be a very easygoing fight. It can completely troll me and be done. Like, we can easily die on this fight. So first off, slacking. We got 1 X defend earlier. It's for this fight. And we need that X defend. Otherwise the facade would have already killed me there, basically. First off, a mud shot. Here's the first of our energy roots here, just to heal back to full. We do need that health. And then we mud shot 2 more times to kill off the first slacking. That is, however, not the entirety of the fight, because we still have 2 more pokes to go. Vigoroth can do up to 90 or up to 69 damage here if he gets a critical. We mud shot. We kind of need him to not crit, so we mud shot on turn 1, drop his speed. We use a energy powder, my last energy powder for that matter. Facade is fine, and then we use strength. He's just gonna loaf around. I am gonna play it safe and take the heal here, however. I could opt to skip it, but I don't want to risk anything. Oh, he's gonna use a hyper anyway. And it's probably for the best that we did that. It does help that he used the hyper on the turn where slacking would be loafing around. Of course, he does slack off. No, we outspeed, especially after the mud shot. So that is Norman down. Well, either way, thank you for updating that, Michi? Did I just say it like that? I probably just butchered that, I'm sorry. Okay, first things first, we're gonna get Surf here before we move on. Basically, Wally's parents are grateful for everything we've done, and thus they want us to get Surf. I guess is nice. And we're gonna pretty much use that right away. We're gonna Super Repel and then Surf over to the other side. Surf over Tackle. We're finally gonna get rid of Tackle. Ah, glad I did. Quick candy over here. There's another candy we'll pick up in a moment, but first, shopping. And no, we don't use the center now, because there aren't really any trainers that we need to worry about anyway. What we needed. So now, unfortunately, we do actually have to normally make our way back to where we were, to Mauville. It's not the worst place to get back to. We can just go this way. Repel here. I want to serve up because actually there is something up here. That's just another rare candy. There's a very small chance for me to get a random encounter there. It'd be a very high level tentacle. If I didn't kill the Sapphire earlier, we could have killed that to get on high EXP route. But because we already have the kill we need, we don't have to worry about it anymore. Mr. Spinner, could you please? Funny little thing about the spinner over here, she can actually see you even over the ledge, and she can actually walk over the ledge even though she's not supposed to be able to. Going into the back freezes spinners for a few frames, allowing me to more easily pass them. We see Steven again. Again, he doesn't really give us anything useful or anything. He just has a little chat with us. My repel really rare? Okay, apparently along the way there somewhere my repel wore out and I was lucky not to get into any encounters. Gotta be somewhat careful here with the spinners and the likes. Mr. Spinner, thank you. Okay, made it to the Weather Institute. The Weather Institute is coincidentally also the place where we're going to get our next big Pokemon. But not until after we fought a few Aqua Grunts here. These Aqua Grunts, for the most, are super free. And after this, we're actually going to get into an interesting thing. There's two different routes that we can go, going into the next rival fight. You've got the low EXP route, or you've got the high EXP route. And the advantage of having high EXP route, which we are on, is even though we'll be a level or two lower for the rival fight, because I'll actually only be level 31 instead of 33, it's going to actually make things faster later on, as we'll be evolving a couple fights earlier, a couple damage ranges are going to be easier, and so on. It's just very convenient. That critical mattered, I think. Not gonna learn Takedown. Actually, no, it didn't matter. I wasn't sure anymore. Now, another little thing that you might not have noticed there, but we actually had that trainer walk towards us a step. And that's to save on movement here. That way I don't have to go all the way around through the bottom. Saves a few seconds. Now Shelly, pretty straightforward fight. I'd have to check who has world record on it nowadays. I think Pokeguy? Let me check that for you. It's still yeah, Pokeguy has it at a 158. So this guy thanks us by giving us a Pokemon, so we get Cast Form. Now on high EXP route, or sorry, on low EXP route, I would now be doing my menuing, but because we're not on low EXP route, we're just gonna immediately go into the rival fight. This fight is generally speaking pretty free. Definitely one of the easier rival fights. Magnitude 4. That's the lowest possible. Yeah, I don't really know why it pauses spinners either. It just does. And it's very convenient for us, so, you know, I'm not gonna question it. Luckily not, Lucid. Although for the Pokemon series race that's happening next year, I will have to catch it here again. Last time I did, for a catch-em-all run, it took me 6 hours, and then one of the other runners found it. Twice. Because we did a Hoendex run the other day. And that run, I was the one who who you know, offered up to catch Phoebus. It took me 6 hours. And then an hour and a half into one of the other people that was doing it found Phoebus in like she found it in an hour and a half after I had tried for 6 hours. Feels bad, man. But at least we were done. I was kind of happy. Of course, first encounter. Forgot to repel. And I realized it as I took my first step in. So now we meet Kecleon. We get this scope thingy. We get to see Kecleon with it, and we get to fight it. We don't care for it, though. Yeah, I literally looked for 6 hours, and then one of the other people that was running with me during that Hoendex run found it in an hour and a half. The advantage was I was done with it by that point, and I didn't have to continue looking, but... yeah, no, never again. Except, well, when the series race comes around, I'll have to. Because unfortunately, this is the best game to get it, otherwise we'd have to get my Milotic in some other way, and there just isn't. "15 minutes, oh boy. I'm slightly jealous there, as you can probably imagine. Anyway, Fortree City Gym. 6th gym that we need to do. Yeah, I'll mention it again because I've seen some new faces in here, but later this, or rather, like in the middle of next year summer, we're going to do a full series race. Gen 1 through 5, including catching all the Pokemon, so I'm gonna have to catch a Phoebus in that again. Really hope to get an easy Phoebus that time. It's easily one of the worst Pokemon in that run. But it needs to be caught. Okay, I'm not happy with that game. Do not put me to sleep, please. The exclamation mark above the trainer's head that will show up if we face them, or if we walk in front of them, actually takes time. More time than it saves me to... or rather, it's faster for me to just skip it instead. As weird as that might sound. Like, the 2 steps is actually less time. It's almost the same, like the difference are very minimal, but it is a big enough difference that it's, you know, it validates me not, or just talking to them instead rather than facing them. Yeah, you gotta consider as well, Dreams, we've got godlike stats. My PB is a 229. We're not going to be hitting that. I'll be happy if I stay underestimate. We're going to use basically all of our remaining, or not even basically, we're going to use all of our remaining X attacks here. We're also going to use my last energy root. Just over 90 minutes, but yeah. Pretty much. Need to use an X speed. So we're now on +5 attack. And this is the point where we're just going to use strength. Goodbye, Pelipper. So this Skarmory isn't guaranteed to die in one hit. We hope that it does, but he could also do that. The Altaria is going to go down in one hit, but the Altaria can troll me quite a bit as well. Oh yeah, game time it's less, because we've had a few deaths here and there. Also, this is the first split that I'm not losing time compared to PB. That was actually a gold Winona for me. By like 20 or 19 seconds. That's kind of cool. Actually saving time somewhere. Even if it's just a little bit. Yeah, exactly. It goes down in one hit unless the accuracy drop we had decided to be dumb. Did the repel wear out? I did not notice the repel wearing out. That's the second time I've gotten an encounter here because I didn't notice the repel. I have more, right? Yeah. Okay, so this next part has a lot of trainers, so we're gonna have to kind of pay attention. I knew it was there. I was slowing down for it, but too late. Luckily, most of these trainers are pretty straightforward, especially with the rain. We're just gonna surf them pretty quick. No worries, Alien. My PB is a 229. 229.39. Okay, this is the earliest I've ever evolved in this game, in this run. I think even in my first run, I evolved later than this. That's how bad this run has been. Both in terms of spinners, although high EXP route matters as well. Usually we evolve 2 fights later, so it's not that much earlier actually. I may be exaggerating slightly. SMT Nocturne will be after this. We were too far ahead of schedule, so we decided to add a filler. Now Nocturne is after this. The main reason I started speedrunning this, Crooked, is the Pokemon Series 100% race, which is happening next year. Next year, summer, there's going to be a 100% race of all the Gen 1 through 5 Pokemon games, including almost all of the side games as well. So it's, when I say 100%, I mean like everything. It's not this one, is it? A nice full heal, but... so that is all main series games, almost all of the side games, as well as catching every single Pokemon that is catchable at least once in one of the games. So that kind of just sparked my interest in running Gen 3, because initially I wasn't that interested in running Gen 3, but I want to be part of that race, or rather I am part of that race. So, as such, I've been learning a lot of the Pokemon games, including this one. But when I learned we needed a filler, I was like, okay, I can offer these 5 or 6 Pokemon games. I think I offered 5 or 6 different ones. That's just because I now know so many because of that race next year. Really fun, though. Yeah, it's a 2 to 3 week long event. Especially because when I say all Pokemon games, I don't just mean Red and then Gold and then Sapphire. I mean Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, and so forth. I think it's 30-something games in total. It's 2 to 3 weeks, with sleep breaks, of course. The strat with spinners, as far as I'm aware, only works in this game. I'm not even sure if it works in Emerald. Including catchable, in-game tradable, like everything that can be obtained in the games. I think it's all but like 30-something Pokemon. A link to details can be found here. That's the series race thingy. It's open to participation as well, in case people are interested. We're always looking for more people to join the madness, but do be aware that it's mad. Fire Red, I don't think it works. Though my knowing it doesn't work in Fire Red. I've used it there for a while as well, but then I still kept hitting spinners occasionally, which is kind of letting me to believe that it probably doesn't work. Well, I'm doing that over my summer holiday, people. That's just summer holiday plans for me, really. And yes, I am. That's part of why I helped organize this event. I love insane stuff. Okay, this is a slightly more dangerous one now. Spinners are trainers that rotate around randomly. You can usually dodge them on one side, and then but they're not guaranteed to pass every time because of the randomly rotating around thingy. I'll have to buy a few extra repels once we're in Slateport. I'm down a repel somewhere, I think. Well, thank you, Shizu. Yeah, we get that trainer over there. Gonna get rid of him. We get the blue orb, he got the red orb. And now we're gonna just fly to Slateport. This is where we do the Evil Team side quest, which in most Pokemon games take way longer than it should. But in this game, it's actually not that bad. I'm actually gonna Super Potion. Take a center later. Fly to Swablu. Yes, pretty much plus. Pretty much the latter. I come prepared, although I have some friends that I wouldn't be surprised to decide to come over at one point. Earlier this year, I also did a Pokemon Mystery Dungeon 100% run. Not for Super Mystery Dungeon, but for Blue Rescue Team, which is also like 100 hours or something. At one point, one of my friends came over to make me dinner and then left again. It was really cool. But it's really one of those things that it takes time to get prepared for that, but I also know what I'm doing in that. Like, it's one of those things that you spend months preparing, but once that moment happens, it's so cool. Oh yeah, but you just let the timer run as you take the as you go to the bathroom. I mean, 3-hour runs I don't need the bathroom for, but longer ones Sometimes, yeah. Just happens, but that just loses you a minute. A minute on 100 hours isn't much. Or even a minute on 8 hours generally isn't that much. So we fly back to Lilycove, it's onto the Aqua hideout. Now a funny story about the Aqua hideout, there's 2 electrodes in that place, and one of the other ones that we've done at one point was a Gen 3 catch-em-all co-op glitchless. So that's Fire, Red, Leaf, Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, all glitchless. Really cool run. It was really fun to do as well. And one of the things that happened in our Emerald run, we were like, you should just Master Ball the Electrode, get that one out of the way, it saves us a trade later on. We don't need it anyway. Actually, he didn't Master Ball it, I think he just caught it. But anyway, he picked up the Electrode, and it ended up being shiny. It's one of the very few shinies I've had in a run. It wasn't mine, but in a speedrun that I was part of. Coliseum is part of that race as well. Should be in there. Both Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness are part of the race. The main thing here is just that we need the Master Ball here. Go back. Now the advantage of the Aqua hideout is that almost every trainer is skippable. There is only one required trainer in this entire thing. Five down from Ruby? Yeah, sounds about right. It is a Gen 3 game after all. About to say, I know that all of that Coliseum was in. Yeah, you know, this is basically, like, that's why I learned Sapphire. This is all just to prepare for a stupidly long run. And considering it's a really, really long-a-thon, I think that's fitting. I think that is a fitting place to combine them, basically. Yeah, this fight is pretty straightforward. This is the only fight we actually have to do in this entire hideout. We just need to trigger this cutscene. Yeah, I think right now we have 8 participants in the race. And like I said, we're still looking for more, so... yeah, if you're insane, that's worth it for sure. Anyway, we beat this Aqua admin. Submarine goes off. Team Aqua on its way again. That's basically all of our work here done. Essentially, story-wise, this place matters very little, except that we need to get the Master Ball here anyway. Other than that, there really isn't anything going on here. I always find it weird that they protect it like that, or like that place is in there like that even. Essentially, there's nothing happening, but them leaving with the submarine probably would have happened even if I wasn't there, so... you know, plot holes and all that. Yo, all good, Evil Bunny. Hope you enjoyed at least. So first, shopping, again. 7 hypers, 2 full heals. I don't have as much money as I wanted. But I should still have a nugget to sell, right? About to say, oh, 2 even. Oh, we're swimming in cash. And even buy a few safeties. There we go. Neat. Well, capturable is the wrong word there. It's more so obtainable. Yeah, there is a route for Torchic. I believe Rauschmore. No, not Rauschmore. Ryzakin worked on that at some point. For the speedrun though, Mudkip is definitely the most viable of all of them. Trico is significantly slow, like significantly slower. It's really not worth it. I do believe Torchic can be run, although it's definitely a slower option. Zatu didn't damage me, that's nice. Yeah, all the marathon runs are glitchless. That's also why we don't get certain event Pokemon in Gen 4. We agreed that everything needs to be possible glitchless. It's generally more fun to do it that way anyway, especially for a big race like the series race. It sets a much lower bar if you're not super familiar with them, which just makes the entry for it a bit easier as well. And in general, I'm more a fan of glitchless runs than I am of glitched. But that might also be a personal preference, I guess. Okay, we need to deep dive. Yeah, by this point, our Swampert has become a full-on HM slave. With Strength, Dive, Rock Smash, and Surf. That said, on to Tate and Liza. This is by far one of the most trolliest fights in the game. It is not as bad as Rival 2, but it's a close second. The notes for this, and I kid you not, say X-Speed, Hyper Potion. So far so good. Adapt. I think the adapt part kind of says a lot about what this fight is all about. And Solrock is going for a Solar Beam, and I am not a fan of Solar Beam there. Now if my Sing goes off, that'd be really nice actually. Didn't think it would. Adapt. Yeah, that's literally what my notes say here. There is no better strategy than that. I wouldn't mind them taking care of my Swablu, however. Oh, there goes the Swablu. About time, honestly. That Swablu stayed in a lot longer than I had expected. Also, the Solrock dying that quickly. That's kind of nice. Lunatone is still going to be an issue, but the Lunatone, generally speaking... I mean, it would have been easier had I gotten the Rain Dance off. That would have helped me a little bit, but we should win this. Or not? Right, 7 Calm Minds or something. Here I thought I was actually in a good position. Oh yeah, I remember Goddish. Goddish was something else. That's how I beat Blue the first time, or that rival fight in the first time I played that game casually. That was interesting. Get the rain dance off, please. Come on, this is not good. Nice, nice crit. This is what I meant with this is one of the worst fights possible ever in this game. And it actually, the first time around it seemed to go really well. Now the second time it's going horribly. To be fair, that second time around I didn't really have a chance that way anyway. Not with one of my mains dying that early. Okay. Bull Rock charge up for a Solar Beam, please. They're gonna kill that, aren't they? I would just like to get a Rain Dance off. Rain Dance buffs the power of water type moves quite a bit. Go figure. That's not gonna be enough. They're gonna kill me. That might matter. I need a Calm Mind right now. If he does Psychic, we're still dead. Maybe? Actually, maybe not. I might not. Yo, nice, we live. I lost 4.5 minutes compared to my PB on that, but we live. God, that fight. Yeah, that's something. We're probably gonna end right around estimate, Pink. We're gonna end right around estimate. I'm currently 18 minutes behind my PB. My PB being a 229, so... But I had a pretty bad Kyogre, so we have some time save potential in the late game still. That said, we're gonna probably end right around estimate. Okay, let's see. Max Repel here. Now we've got some surfing to do. Avoid this guy. So now we're going to go to the other Team Aqua hideout. Again, there's very few required battles. I really like that about the Gen 3 evil team that you have to fight. There's very, very few required battles. There's a lot of trainers there, but almost none of them are actually required to be fought. Actually, it's better to run in this part. so many little things you have to push and do. Better to run instead. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to predict how a run is gonna go when you're still in the middle of a run. Like right now, I'm looking at the time and I'm being like, oh, this is gonna get close. But then I also know that I have time save in the late game, so. But you know, Kyogre can still determine a lot. That's a thing with the Sapphire run as well. I don't manipulate Kyogre yet. It can be manipulated, but I haven't learned how to do it yet. You know, because I'm still relatively new to the run. So it's still kind of a case of, okay, I know that we have to get a Kyogre, but it can just be just about anything. Yeah, that was a pause buffer. It's to manipulate the spinner to get stuck for just a few frames. This is, by the way, the only regular trainer that we have to fight in this entire place. This and the boss, like Archie. Basically, what I mean with that, Alien, is in my PB, I had a really bad Kyogre, and as a result, my the last few fights in the game went really, really poorly in my PB. Like, I have my splits active, so I'm kind of comparing against PB as I go through the run. Yeah, when I say time saves in the late game, I mean that, pretty much. This is unfortunate. Another boulder puzzle, boulder pushing puzzle here. Man, personally, I really enjoy speedrunning. I've been speedrunning for... That's Earthquake, right? Yeah, I wasn't sure if this was Earthquake or Waterfall. Figured I'd double check. Yeah, I mean, I've been speedrunning for nearly 4 years myself now, so... Actually, this week, 4 years. This Friday, I believe, or this Saturday, something like that. So yeah, just try it out and see if you enjoy it or not. If you don't enjoy it, it's always easy to stop, right? Yeah, time for Archie. Now this Archie fight is a little bit easier than the earlier ones we did. But we do have to pay attention a little bit, because we do need to be in Torrent at one point. This is one of those fights where we manipulate getting Torrent. Where's my full heals? There. I need to get rid of the confusion. Because the Mighty Enna isn't going to help me much. But now that the Crobat comes out, we're gonna just hold off here. See what it does. I'm just gonna stall a bit. Use an extra X speed. I may not have needed to use that. Hair cutter. Or yeah, that's 129. We're on Torrent. Oh yeah, Pokemon Gold is a fantastic game to run. I've had so many runs die at Pikachu at the end at Red that it's also painful sometimes, but then again, that goes for a lot of speedruns, especially with the Pokemon games, where you can just lose a run at the end. But yeah, Gold is definitely pretty fun. But yeah, so we unleash Kyogre. Nothing much more to it than that. Gonna get out of here in a moment and then surf to Topolis. Yeah, the Pikachu, it's like half the time it goes very well and the Pikachu is super easy and it's a really nice fight to do. And then half the time it's so painful. Not in, we use Feraligatr in Pokemon Gold. Oh, no. Also, we set up on Pikachu. What makes one Pokemon game better to run than another? Not really sure. I think it really, for a big part, just comes down to personal preference. Like, some are more consistent. If you look at, for example, the Gen 1 games, they're pretty consistent. Like, there is some RNG to it, but all in all, I'd consider it's very minimal, especially compared to some of the others. Especially considering RNG manips and whatnot. Whereas some of the later Pokemon games are a lot more RNG heavy. But then they also tend to sometimes show off a lot more very interesting content at the same time, so I don't know. I kind of like both elements of it. Nope, not this way. This way. Cycling in this place is hard. We meet up with Wallace. We're gonna go catch ourselves a Kyogre. Now this Kyogre, it can really go everywhere. If we get a good Kyogre, it can save us a lot of time. If we get a bad Kyogre, it could be really annoying. That's unfortunately right now down to RNG. Ideally, we'd have a plus special attack nature. Gotta get HM7 here. That is Waterfall. We kind of need that. Okay. Let's bless RNG. See if we get ourselves a good Kyogre today. Now again, this is manipulable. But we're not going to. No, we're not gonna. I haven't learned the Kyogre manip yet, so I don't know how to manipulate the Kyogre. Not yet, at least. Something I'll learn at some point. Okay, first and foremost, we've got some rare candies to use here. Okay, that's a pretty decent special attack. Really low speed, though. Shockwave over Calm Mind. Surf over Body Slam. Okay, so my speed is kind of a pain. Other than that, it's actually pretty alright. Yeah, we swap those two. And escape rope out of here. No, this is not the run that was cancelled last night. Unfortunately, I don't run Sun and Moon, so I couldn't give you guys the run that was cancelled. But hey, at least I can give you some Pokemon. Runner dropped out last second, Lucius. It was kind of a pain, to be honest. This is just a filler because we were too far ahead of schedule. That's really the only reason we did that. The previous run got world record by an hour, so yeah, that happened. So this is literally just that, a run because we're too far ahead of schedule otherwise. I think we were 3 hours ahead almost. I don't know what they do in their Pokeballs. After this run, we'll be roughly on par with schedule again. I think we'll be like 20 to 30 minutes behind. But then again, the next run was bound to go under as well, or so the runner mentioned. Or at least likely to. So that might not necessarily be bad. Special... This is why we equip the Person Berry. Just checking whether I have enough speed. I could potentially buy an extra X speed still somewhere. Not entirely sure if that'll be worth it or not. Yeah, there were a few runs that have already world recorded. But yeah, the previous run was world record by an hour. I mean, that's going to be tricky for us to manage otherwise. Okay, we didn't get confused, so this should be a pretty big time save already. Boom. That was actually a 50-second time save over PB. Yeah, I think we should be good X speed-wise. We may get a bit of a problem at one of the E4 members, but all in all, we should be okay. To be fair, Lucy, getting a fee bust is not worth it on so many levels. That is all. It's just not worth it. We're actually going to fly back to Moss Deep because it's faster to surf from there. I should also teach Waterfall in a moment. Oh, happy to do it, Mage. Happy to do it. When I heard yesterday about what the situation was going to be like, I kind of already prepared myself for needing to do this. Plus, hey, at least that way, as an organizer, I can step in and, you know, help out here and there. You know, make sure everything keeps running. And that's worth a lot as well, because honestly, the event has been tremendously successful so far. We've had a few dropouts, we've had some issues here and there, but all in all, I'm very pleased with how the marathon's been going. Very happy I could be part of that. Yeah, I'm one of the organizers as well, certainly. I was the one to make the schedule in the first place. It's mostly been me and Zelnus working on it, but there have been a good few people in the back also streaming. Restreaming, I mean. KitKat, Sans, to name a few. I can't think of all of the names from the top of my head, which is actually kind of bad, because I feel like I should know all of them, but... like, we would not be here without those kind of people as well. They've done their share of work. Ultimate Stooges, Zexion. I think Indy has also done some restreaming, I'm not entirely sure. No, this way. This is always where I really have to pay attention to the path, because it's very easy to get stuck in here. Oh yeah, of course. Issues always will pop up. And I'm not too worried about that either. All I can just say is that I've been tremendously grateful for all the people that have been helping us out with this. Because it has been a really fun event to do, and I'm really happy that we managed to keep everything going as long as we have already. Like, somehow. I don't know, but just because I don't know doesn't mean that that nobody knows. I just personally wouldn't know. I'm mostly just running through this place. There's a few places where I can opt to cycle, but... this way... you'd have to ask Zelnus for that, but that's kind of a thing you're often going to get with restreaming Devour, that volumes are going to end up lower than what you would want, just because we're capturing an audio and then restreaming that as well. So, I don't know, it kind of happens occasionally. I could, Ravok, but lately I've only been focusing on Pokemon, so... I don't know. It kind of wouldn't fit me right now to do Lufia. I would be able to, technically, but... I think I'd enjoy it more to just keep running Pokemon for a little bit longer. Since that's kind of become my main series over the past few months. I'll just enter the Discord, certainly, if you're not in there already. That'll generally give you, or get you where you need to be, because usually it's Zelnus that figures out these problems. More often than not, I'm just there to help out where I can, but I've been super busy with work this week, unfortunately. No, that's the Speed Gaming Discord. Hold on, I can try and link you the actual Discord of this one in a moment. Copy. There you go. That's the really, really long-a-thon Discord. That's also for people that want to stay up to date for next year, because there's likely going to be a next year. That's also one that's potentially worthwhile if you're interested in joining this at some point. No, Speed Gaming Discord doesn't have this, unfortunately. This is a separate event that just gets hosted on the Speed Gaming channel, mostly. Because luckily the Speed Gaming crew has been kind enough to support us with a platform. Because that's a thing as well, you know? Building a platform for something like this is almost unreasonable. It takes so much time to build a channel, especially for something silly like this. It's just easier for us to get some help from another channel, like the Speed Gaming crew. They were kind enough to do that to us, luckily. It's good stuff right there. Yeah, the last Wally fight here, honestly pretty straightforward. We're about to head into the Elite Four, and honestly, the Elite Four is not that hard. Like, you'd be surprised with a Kyogre like this one. The Elite Four is actually surprisingly easy. So yeah, here we go. Agreed, Mage. Agreed. I mean, I've run in plenty of Link to the Past randos, but yeah, at some point I don't know, it stopped interesting me as well. So this is Sydney, first of the Elite Four members, and generally speaking pretty easy. We have pretty good special attacks, so I don't have to worry about this guy too much. My speed could cause the Sharpedo to be faster than me. That's like the only thing that can really go wrong. Yeah, I figured this was going to be the case. This is where this fight can potentially become dangerous. This confusion starts to hit. That should be the only one to be able to outspeed me. I don't think the shift tree can. I am surprised that it didn't die, though. Do I still have enough that way? I think we do, right? I think we still have enough of those. I didn't expect the Sharpedo to become a damage range here. Okay. I think we have enough shockwaves to be able to make it work, though. World record passed a long time ago. World record is a 158. So, funny thing here, that Sydney fight is still better than my PB. My PB was 17 seconds slower there, which I think says enough about how bad my my Kyogre was in PB. World record uses RNG Manip. This run also used RNG Manip though. This is where we go into using an X special. We should have enough by this point. 1, 2, yeah, should be fine. Just making sure that I have enough. We have to use one on Steven. Yeah, we don't use any glitches in this particular run. It's as Plus said. We only used a Deathwarp earlier on to get from Flannery to Norman very quickly, which takes a little bit of setting up. It's a bit tricky, but it isn't a glitch by any means. It's completely an intended mechanic. Confusion again. I'm not risking it. We're going to go full heal. Yeah, that Phoebe was actually slower than my PB. Yikes. Okay, 3 more fights left. Glacia can easily be one of the worst fights here. It's generally not bad, but it can be very bad. We do need at least 2 X specials here, and then the last X special is going to be on Steven. Yeah, Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne is going to be after this. Very cool run as well, by the way. Definitely worth it. I'm gonna be off after this again. Do some runs of my own. Oh, thank you, Rafield. Now the debate kind of becomes, do I use the X speed here or do I use it on Drake? I might use it here. I have to use that, guaranteed. That's unfortunate, the paralysis there. We dodged the paralysis for a while, but too bad. Okay, so the wall rain definitely isn't going to go down in one hit. That would require me setting up another X special, and I can't do that, I don't have enough. Waterfall is not physical in Gen 3. They did indeed change that in Gen 4. Gen 3, up to Gen 3, all moves, like whether they're special or physical, is determined by their type, not by the move itself. And Waterfall is no exception to that rule. This is what I meant with the wall rain not going to go down in one hit. Fortunately, we got unlucky. She's going to heal, so I might as well. Next turn, she's almost guaranteed to go for Hail, as that's a priority move for her. I'm surprised she went for Sheer Cold. Anyway, that's Wall Rain. That saves nearly 2 minutes over my PB, by the way, on Glacia. I'm not even joking, that is literally almost 2 minutes of time save on Glacia there, compared to PB. A minute 50... Yeah, minute 51, I think? Okay, 2 fights. At Zelnus, or whomever else is restreaming, time is not immediately after the last fight, but rather is as we fade into the credits after the Hall of Fame entry. My PB is a 2:29, Rywek. So my PB finished 10 minutes ago. That's okay, though. With the RNG I had, I'm not surprised. Yeah, here we go. This fight is, generally speaking, pretty easy. We just Ice Beam and hope we outspeed. We don't outspeed everything. We're just not going to. I would have had to use an X speed right about now, but I don't have the X speeds for it. Well, thank you, Rafield. Yeah, the Flygons and the Salamence are all going to outspeed me here. Up to the last one. Salamence, also going to be faster than me, but again, not going to be an issue. That's going to be my last Ice Beam PP as well. And then it's off to the champion. Yeah, we're gonna get back to Shin Megami Tensei after this. Just a few minutes left of Pokemon. Okay, here we go. Time for Steven. Steven is a pretty straightforward fight for the most. We X Special, and then we Surf everything. If I don't have enough Surf PP, I can Waterfall almost everything. There's only 2 that I have to Surf. The Toxic, that's kind of annoying. But we should still have a full heal left. There we go. Okay, so we only have 4 Surf PP, so I need to Waterfall 2. I can do that on anything except Crrool and Metagross. Yeah, my PBZ4 is crappy, full frame, for sure. No. No. Time is as we fade into the credits, Zelnus. It's at credits, not after E4. Or not after Steven. Last but not least, Armaldo. Yeah, that's basically the Elite Four. Like I said, pretty easy all in all. That's one of the cool things about this run. Generally speaking, the Elite Four is pretty easy, especially if you normally... because normally we would manipulate the Kyogre as well, making it even easier. It does. Will this go well? It does